Hello, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. This is an intense upheaval feeling, and like the first wave I got with this one is that you can sense that change is coming. I think that I think that you can sense that change is coming, but you're not entirely sure where all it's going to show itself. And another thing that's very loud and quick is that justice is being served right now. Through you, throughout you. And it's like that I just heard this oldie song in my head that I don't want to say goodbye for the summer. But that's what this feels like. This is like a really unpleasant transformative experience that whoever you are, it's like I'm picturing, okay, this is so gross, I hate it, but I'm picturing this scene in, I think the movie is I Am Legend with Will Smith, and the zombies are like running and they're trampling over themselves and each other, and it's like just wave and wave and wave and wave, but it's like each wave is a wave of new zombies. Instead, that's what this feels like, that's where I don't really feel comfortable with like making a solid no contact decision in my mind, like gone forever with a human, because I believe people can change. But there are certain experiences that I think that you are unable to avoid removing from yourself at this point. I think you've gone through so much growth and you've put your own emotional experiences into productive lessons, so much so that I think this is you created this for yourself because you manifested your next level. But this doesn't feel good all the time. And I think that's why I was picturing the zombie thing, because it's like just like quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker, and they're coming. And that's how it can feel emotionally, because we really wash ourselves out. Like we really do this huge clearing when we've decided that we're gonna grow. Every single time that you're like, I need to take myself to the next level, things have to be removed and rebuilt. I was just hearing that answer, or that call and answer by Bare Naked Ladies. And they say in their rebuild, because in other notes than those, but I feel that you experienced the beginning of your transformation internally in self way back. Like this feels like you knew what you were doing, but you didn't know it would be this much of an uproar internally. And I'm picturing this like moment. There have been a couple periods of my life after experiencing like, okay, we're interacting with energy all the time, and everyone has their own energy and their energetic field, and you have to decide which levels you're willing to let into yours. And like this feels like you have become and you are becoming enlightened because you've explored outside of yourself. So the message, like the what to do and what you need to do to continue this enlightenment it's so fun, because it makes me think of just like a pupil dilating, the enlightenment experience, which I talk about in my member space, but I really think that that's a symptom. I mean, that is a symptom of the sympathetic nervous system's response to stimulus. So the pupil actually dilates. And it's like in my mind, whenever I read that, I'm like, to take in more light. Duh, that's why a pupil dilates. And when you can't see it, it's like nature just makes our view bigger. It's neat. So the thing that needs to be created in your external environment is your new enlightened self. It's like you need to produce an enlightened environment around you. And I feel that that is in what you already do, which is like honing in on your own skills. Like I feel like you're very good at distracting yourself from bad things by honing in on your skills. And another thing with this could be like explore your horizons, let your view open, and that's becoming enlightened. It's like you need to look into other things, because at this point, I think that this like zombie thing I was describing, I think it's people that you have to leave behind. And the experiences that I keep thinking back to in my own life are knowing like my new values. Like, okay, well, this is how I feel when that frequency of information is around me. This is how I feel when behaviors are involved with people that I'm interacting with. It's like as you go through kind of removing toxic, even just personal behaviors, like this is what happens when I drink too much. Everything. When you remove things and you go through enough growth one by one, it's time for a major upheaval. Like an upheaval. And I feel that this is when everything is changing. And it's like, I feel that you can sense that you are changing. You're evolving into a new being with yourself. Like, and what that means is you know yourself differently now, because that's how you interact differently. So with this, like, create an enlightened environment around you, put new things into it to distract you from the people that you are leaving behind. Because I feel that justice being served throughout your own self right now, I think it's an emotional clearing of low frequency things that you no longer tolerate. And I think that because of that, you've grown so much internally and emotionally that it's like you've got to just let the gates open for a moment and let the negative come out that needs to come out. It might feel weird. You might go through emotional ups and downs. That's what it makes me think of, is literal homeostasis. When you're going through a transformation in your development, like you're going through a period of transforming, upward, developing into an evolved version of yourself, it's like you have to experience leaving things behind that you may have never thought you were going to leave behind before. It even makes me think of, and homeostasis always makes me think of like when we're going through our teen years and preteen years, when we're experiencing like developing into an adult, because we know what it's like. If you go through that, you know what that's like. To be like, oh, well, this is how I react. I get really pissy. I need to keep myself away from people. Maybe I need to not say everything that's on my mind when I'm going through a shift. Oh, perfect example. Just someone quitting a vape. Someone I love very much quitting a vape. And they're like, I'm really into myself right now. And they're really distant, but it's because they're withholding from projecting their imbalance onto other people right now, which is really cool. It's like taking accountability for your own rebuilding of your own. You're leaving something behind. Like some chapter is sealed and done for good. And so the message with this is you need to expand into your environment, and that's how you can become more enlightened into this new phase that you are entering. Like in order to keep it steady through the storm, like over the waves, I feel it's like to keep yourself steady, you have to allow for emotional interaction with high level things in your environment. Like you bring them in. You bring something to the table that puts your over uncomfortable feelings to use, to a good use. Example, every single month, maybe even more than once because I have a teenager, whenever you go through physical ups and downs, like in your hormones are like, what? You can literally experience something just interrupted. I feel the need to make, it's like I drop into my lower level. Whenever I'm feeling like overwhelmed with what's going on inside of my imbalancing, like whatever, it's in order to go through it in a positive way, I like sink into my lower level and I'll like make music or I'll write out all the worst things I could possibly like think in my own head. And then I look at it and I'm like, ugh. So it's useful because it helps me to just keep myself connected to where I want to be. And then when I'm back level again, I don't have to worry about like feeling bad for something I said or like I rolled my eyes too many times and I hurt somebody's feelings. Or, I ate all the wrong things and then I hate my skin because it's my own fault. So, and that's what this feels like. This is like just keep going forward, keep being accountable for your own growth and enlightenment. It's like I feel like you're getting answered in such a large way where it's like hone in on your skills, like what you already know, and just make something new and make something different. I feel like the feeling is justice is already being served. There's nothing you can do about it unless you want to hold yourself back and crawl back under that like cloud. And you don't. It's very obvious that you can't. Like, that's how I feel like you feel. And that's because when you make a decision that you're going to grow, you make a decision that you're going to be uncomfortable. It may not last forever, but being uncomfortable is a side effect of growth. You cannot avoid it. You just have to toughen up to it and become aligned with the ways that you can put it to use. Just like everything, like every single thing that is happening, it's like I don't feel like you have to be overactive to respond to the change that's coming into your life. I feel like people are getting rid of themselves. And that's what it is when justice is being served. Because I think emotionally, you've manifested this removal. I feel like you made a decision at some point that enough is enough. You're done. You're done with that type of treatment, that type of tolerance. That's a big decision. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope that's helpful for someone. Definitely let me know in the comments if it resonates. And I know that it's been a while since I've been in here. And that's because I was going through a major upheaval myself. Like I said in like all of my videos I'm putting back, I think now. But I think that that's what happens when you decide that right is right and that you're going to take that path. I think that other things that don't align with that path, it's like you've decided who you're going to be and who you are. And they decide that too. Okay. Have a good rest of your night. I will see you in the next reading. All right, bye.